Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, Ukraine has shot down 12 out of 18 Russian drones launched into several cities. At least 3 people were injured in the northeastern region of Sumy, according to local officials. Meanwhile, Russian authorities are creating new volunteer territorial defense units in response to the Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk region. The formation of these new detachments is consistent with the Kremlin's apparent strategy to avoid redeploying experienced or combat-effective units engaged in fighting in the Pokrovsk or Toretsk directions to the Kursk region due to the concerns about slowing down Russian offensive operations in these high-priority directions. Ukrainian forces have reached Nizhnaya Parovaya, north of Sudzha, and advanced into the northwestern part of the settlement. Ukrainian forces are also on the offensive near Korenevo, Kremianoye and Malaya Loknya. Fighting rages on in the Kharkiv sector. A Ukrainian forces spokesperson has stated that the pace of Russian offensive operations near the rural settlement of Staritsia is decreasing, and that Russian forces are beginning to transition to defensive positions but continue to put pressure on the Ukrainians elsewhere on this section of the front line. Ukraine's top commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, described fighting in the Pokrovsk area as exceptionally tough. He said the most intense clashes were taking place around Krasny Yar, some 10 kilometers away from Pokrovsk, and that Russia was throwing everything into the fight despite Ukraine's surprise incursion into the Kursk region meant in part to pull troops away from the Pokrovsk offensive. Russian forces are currently pursuing 2 immediate tactical efforts as part of their ongoing operation to seize Pokrovsk. One along the Novokhodivka-Hrodivka line to seize Mirnograd, and an advance towards Pokrovsk's outskirts. Now, drones, once of marginal significance to the war effort, are now a weapon central to both sides alongside infantry and artillery, as Ukraine struggles to hold back Russian advances. The video ahead shows the work of the 93rd Mechanized Brigade. And now we're moving on to Russia's Kursk region. At the very beginning of the fighting there, a Forbes journalist wrote that the participation of the 80th Airborne Assault Brigade of Ukraine is evidence of the scale of the Ukrainian offensive in the area. So now let us watch this legendary brigade in action together.
Ду, ти бачиш? А БК є? Що там таке?
Досі, вони ж вибудували.
Та ні, чекай. Що у тебе ще є?
У мене ще майже повно.
Ну то візьмеш його.
Давай я буду.
Можеш т***ти.
Чекай. Андер, ти працюєш.
Тоді, коли вони ***ять. То чекай, як вогонь буде, як буде їхній вогонь.
Сюди, бігом, з РПГ. Сюди. Наші всі відійшли.
Та поки воно, походу, не відійшли. Не бачу.
Ой, трой, огня дай, тут!
Давай, не бач! Вогонь! Та то БК.
Now, what do you think? Who would win the following battle? A Ukrainian FPV drone worth approximately $450 or a T-90 Russian tank worth approximately $4.5 million? Correct. The tank was destroyed in an explosive fashion by a Ukrainian FPV drone. Actually, there were a few of them involved. So the Russian-Ukrainian war has transformed military technology forever, it seems, as drones take center stage. And in many cases, very cheap devices can take out targets worth much, much more. Let's take a look. Unsurprisingly, the weird structure atop the tank's turret, as often known as the cope cage, didn't really help a lot. But well, that's the precision of Ukrainian drones to you. Nothing is able to escape. Now, at the end of today's episode, as always, we're going to share an excellent video from the 3rd Assault Brigade. In this first-person footage, Ukrainian soldiers engage in a small arms battle, firing directly at the position of Russian soldiers in the Kursk region.
С прострельчиком. Нахуй, погнали, блядь. Ты. Прострел. Тут чуєш, тут дохуя кабачків і завалено. Опасно прострілювати.
А пидоры это делают? Надо снимать будет его. Земля.
Сниму вас, маленькие мои. Голливудик, не говорил?
And so another episode of Military Mind comes to a close. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.